Boy, just when you think you know somebody, they do something that causes you to say, "What in the world? I didn't expect that." Well, probably wonder who I'm talking about. Let's see. Is it Donald Trump? No. No, it's not Donald Trump. Is it President Biden? No, because he's really not doing anything that I didn't expect at this point. Is it a sports player? No, no. There's a guy that's in the news, a man that is highly, highly powerful in the spiritual world. And he did something that people would be shocked at. He called a woman a name. And I mean, he is a powerful, powerful person in spirituality. This woman came to him for help, asked him for help, and he called her a name. He insulted her. And the guy that did it, I'm blowing it up right now on the Daily Talk, social media. I'm telling you who it was. Ladies and gentlemen, the man that insulted a woman that came for help, and he said he was here to help people. You ready for this? Jesus Christ. That's right, my friends. Jesus Christ. Oh, let me tell you what happened. So he's sitting at a table with his disciples, and they're sitting around there. Apparently they had a meal or had been eating, and this woman comes to him, who is not a Jew. She happens to be a Canaanite woman. And she shows up and says, "My daughter is sick and is going to die." And she says to Jesus, "Please help me." Now, I read this. I read this in the Jerusalem newspaper. Well, actually, it's in the Jewish writings. It might as well be in the Jerusalem newspaper. And she says, "My daughter is sick. She's dying." She's pleading with Jesus. "Please send the word. You're healing people. You're doing marvelous things. Please." And Jesus doesn't even respond to her. He ignores her. And his disciples look at her and they say to him, "Lord, send this woman away. Send her away. She's not a Jew. She's a Canaanite woman, and she needs to go away." Now, remember at that time, okay, this is before Jesus threw wide open the doors and let everybody in. Jews, Gentiles, Greeks, male, female, slave, bond, free, everybody. Americans. We didn't come in and have the opportunity to come in until he came to his own, the Jews, and his own did not receive him. Once they rejected him, then he threw wide open the doors. But hear the story. Listen to the story. This is some stuff. So the disciples say, tell her to go away. Now at that time, it would have been right because the Jews felt like they were the chosen people and nobody else. Jesus doesn't even respond to her. But she keeps pleading with him. "My daughter is dying. Please, put yourself in her shoes." And here's a person that says that they can do something. And he looks at her, and here's where first he ignores her. Now he insults her. He says, "Woman, it is not meet," or in other words, it's not appropriate for me to give the children's bread to the dogs. Now, here's what he's saying. Healing belongs to my people, the people I came to save, the Jews. Haven't rejected him yet. So here he's with the Jews, caring about the Jews. He's a Jew himself. And he says, it's not right, it's not appropriate, it's not timely for me to give the children's bread, healing for my children, to the dogs. Called her a dog. Well, that's very un-Jesus-like. I mean, if you're a Baptist minister and did that, they'd probably throw you out of the Baptist church. Or if you were a Church of God minister, they'd probably throw you out of the Church of God for saying that. Now, how she responds to his insult determines what she gets next. Can I just stop right here for a second, my friends, and say, oftentimes how we respond to our current situation determines how our next blessing is going to come or not come. How we react to the situation we're in right now oftentimes is a determining factor as to what's about to happen on the next day. I like to say a decision I make today determines an outcome tomorrow. Now, this woman, she could have got offended. I would have got offended. Think about in today's society, if somebody had come to a high, powerful spiritual leader and asked for help, and they said, it's not right, called him a dog. I'm not going to give you this stuff, you dog. Could you imagine what would happen? I don't know who he thinks he's calling. Who is he calling a dog? What is he talking about? Oh, man, they'd have got offended. They would have ran out. They would have put it on social media. They would have done everything. But here's what this woman did. She didn't get offended. She looks at him and says, that's true, Master. That is true. The dogs get to eat the bread, but the children get to eat the bread. The children get to eat the bread. But even the dogs get the crumbs that fall from the table. Now, Jesus spins around, looks at this woman, and says, woman, I haven't found such great a faith. And then he looks back at his disciples and says, even in Israel. You guys are sitting here at the table, and I'm feeding you the bread every day, and you don't even have the faith that this woman has. I've offended her. I've insulted her. And she turns around and says, yes, Lord, but I'll take a crumb. You know why? Because any nutrients that are in the bread are in the crumb. If there's eggs in making the bread, there's eggs in the crumb. If there's flour in the bread, then there's flour in the crumb. She said, whatever you give, that's fine. I don't need a whole lot. All I need is just for you to let me have that crumb. And because she responded correctly to the insult, he says to her, woman, by the time you get home, your daughter is going to be made whole. This Canaanite woman, who was not supposed to get anything according to the law, certainly according to the disciples, because they were the guys that were walking next to Jesus, the religious people of the day, the church of the day, would say that she doesn't deserve anything. But Jesus turns around, throws an insult at her, and says, well, I'm not giving the children's bread to dogs. And she handles the insult. Did you know your peace and my peace and the amount of peace that we keep is all tied into what offense you buy into or what offense you let go? If you're the type of person that gets offended over every little thing, takes everything personal, you're going to have a rough existence. But if you can learn to know who you are and let things go, your life's going to be a lot more peaceful. It's amazing to me that here, Jesus, the Christ, can insult a woman. And she takes that insult and turns around and says, call me a dog if you want to. But I know you're the one that can help me. Just give me a crumb. And her daughter was made whole. What I want you to know today, my friends, and what we as people need to understand is we don't have to react to every insult. And sometimes exactly how we handle one offense right now will determine the blessing that will come or be blocked the next day.